What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Bobby Dizzle podcast. Got an episode coming up for you right now. The guest is a Mississippi boy. His heart is in Wyoming, and when we did this recording, he was in New Zealand. He's a folk singer, country singer, sort of in between. You know how the genres kind of overlap. And the first thing I thought when I heard his music was, why doesn't he have any more fans? Why isn't he any more popular? Because all of his songs are pretty much original. And one of them's going to open up this episode, and if you'll stay tuned to the end, not trying to clickbait you or anything, if you'll stay tuned to the end, there is a complete sample of his song, "Booger Proof." It's not as bad as it's not as bad of a title, not as bad of a song as the title is. The title's kind of weird, but what have you? It's folk music. It gets that way. Anyway, I'm going to put a link to his Facebook on the article on BobbyDizzle.com, on YouTube, on iTunes. So, you guys can check that out and give him some more fan base. Give him a bigger fan base and share his music, because you will like it. I like most of it. I would say a solid 95% is really good. So, without further ado, let's welcome the Dauphin of Mississippi.
Third grade outsider, right there on the cusp. Navigating society, at least the best I could. When a kid with all the power circled round me with his friends and said, if I ate a booger, I could hang around with them. Well, I wish I could report to you, told him go jump a fence. Then and there I ate that booger, and I've been eating boogers since.
Copy or anything?
Life did not turn out so
I did one last week. I did an hour and a half with the dude, and it came back. It sounded like I was in a fishbowl. He sounded great. I'm going to have to go like Mythbusters narration on it, and I was so mad about it because it was a guy from Rick and Bubba, the Rick and Bubba show. Really? Yeah, one of their side characters. I was like, man, I'm never. This is the biggest person I'll get for a while.
Yeah.
All right, well, if you can hear me, I can hear you.
Yeah, you ought to go back. You ought to go back and ask questions that have nothing to do with what they answered.
If it wouldn't just destroy my trust at this level, I might think about it. Like, I'm gonna have to put a disclaimers. I did not edit this to make him sound any different. It's pretty good though. It's still usable. I'm just gonna go through and have like a title card with me saying, and here I asked him about turkey hunting. Because he's a guy that holds the world record Alabama turkey.
What?
And, yeah. So it was a big deal, and him being on Rick and Bubba, so it appeals to all audiences around this area. 2-inch spurs on it.
Good Lord.
But enough about me. Enough about me and Gary. What's going on in New Zealand?
Well, it's rainy and cold, and all the things that bring your, I guess, happiness down right now.
And they took all your guns, so got that going.
I didn't bring any over here. I should have.
Did you say thanks, August. New Zealand, Obama?
Yeah.
Thanks, New Zealand, Obama.
Yeah, actually, I thought about getting my dad to ship me a shotgun because I brought my bird dog over, and you can actually hunt about an hour from north of here.
Is that the dog you're talking about named Boots the bird dog?
Yeah, that's Boot.
Boot?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, she's been shot a few times. She's got about 50 pellets in her. I got her from a rescue out of Utah. And the first time I took her hunting, I actually got her a bird. I mean, I thought she's going to be, well, first time I took her around a gun, me and my buddy went out to shoot skeet. And she was hiding under the truck and going crazy. I was like, oh shit, she remembers getting shot. This is terrible, blah, blah, blah. So I took her out from under the truck and I tied her leash on my foot. And I was shooting, and my buddy threw a skeet, and I threw up and shot at it, and barely nicked it. And she watched that thing go down. She took off after it. And after that, there's no looking back. She wasn't scared of nothing.
So she was accustomed to that. She just didn't like the whole shooting in the back thing.
No, she didn't like being tied up to the truck.
Oh, well, would you?
Not
Let's get
really.
tied to the truck.
Yeah.
Man, them dogs and their gun shyness. I used to have an Australian Shepherd that was you could pick a gun out. I think she could tell you what gauge it was. She was so gun
Really?
shy. She'd go hide.
Really?
That's yeah, it was awful. She's almost like a human.
Boot will do backflips if she sees you get my hunting boots out. Like she knows, and she's just born to it. Like you hear about them guys, they'll buy a $4,000 GSP puppy. They'll send it to Texas and spend $10,000 to get it trained by the like geniuses down there, and find out that it's gun shy or busted. And I got for her for $100, and she'd been shot multiple times, and she just had puppies. She was only like 28 pounds. They found her in the desert outside Moab.
Really?
Yeah.
How'd you wind up with the Merle Haggard of hunting dogs? I mean, daggone.
I dreamed about her. I had a dream where I had a bird dog named Boot, and I just started looking for her, and found her. One that looked like one in my dream online.
Good Lord.
Went and got her. Yeah.
That's serious. That's some Aztec sweat lodge stuff there.
It truly is. Yeah, she's been great. I've had her 10 years now, and I'd put her up against anybody's dog. There's a bunch of dudes up in Wyoming who had dogs they dropped $7 or $8 in. They never would take them. They'd nenever go out with us, and I think it's because they're scared. They didn't go and get showed up.
I like that kid that caught that 12-pound trout on a Scooby-Doo rod.
Yeah.
That was the best. Yeah. That was the best thing ever. We'll get started here. I mean, yeah. I start talking about bird dogs. It's going to be daylight in New Zealand. How you got down to New Zealand? You followed your wife, didn't you? Your girlfriend?
Yeah,
I talked to Afton a little bit about it, so I'm not completely blind.
Yeah. She got a gig down here, and I love living in Wyoming. I mean, I like it quiet. I like it rural. I like to be able to get away. I like fly fishing and being in the mountains. And she found a gig that'll help her career. She's a geologist, and she got a PhD, and she found a postdoc, and she was like, if I can get this job, would you move to New Zealand with me? And I said, no. And then she cried.
Now you're in New Zealand?
Now I'm in New Zealand.
We compromise now. I'm in New Zealand.
Yeah. I mean, which like most people really want to get down here because it's, I mean, it is pretty. It's really pretty, but it's real wet, and it's a maritime climate, so it's a lot like Seattle where I am, and it rains. Lord.
I figured a lot of people go down there for veterinarian doctorates. Apparently, it's like the place to go do it.
It's kind of like Wyoming. If you took Wyoming and just ripped it in half, stacked it on top so it's longer, and just dropped it in the middle of the ocean. I mean, it looks just like it. It's got alpine mountains everywhere, and then a lot of just long brown plains. There's sections of it, though, like down in Hokitika on the South Island. It gets something like 45 feet of rain a year.
How's that work? 45 feet. It's like always raining.
Always. Yeah. It's weird.
That's insane. I mean, we get what, 3 here? I don't know.
5, I think. Mississippi gets 5.
Gave me much.
Seattle gets 4.
Trying to imagine that.
Yeah, it's the wettest place in the world. And it ain't quite that wet where I am. We get like 15 feet here, but that's a lot.
Just 15 feet of rain a year.
Only 15 feet of rain a year.
Must be why they're into all those overland stuff down there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of New Zealand overland 4x4 guys. No wonder. You got to. Yeah. If it's always marred up to your knees.
Yeah, there's all kind of trucks here with snorkels out the hood. It's big goods.
We'll get on talk about your music. I listened to it for about the last hour. I never did get around to that coupon code because it's stupid busy this week. I don't know why, But I listen to a lot of your YouTube stuff, and I can't figure out who you sound like. Some of the songs, I look like this is me. Like I get down these rabbit holes, and country music's one of them. And Ludacris Pandora, I do that too for some. But like you sound like song was that I listened to? Sound like John Prime and Travis Tritt had a baby. One of them. Yeah.
I'll take that.
Yeah, I mean it's not awful. You don't. It sound. It sound. One of the songs sounded like John Prime. It sounded like Travis Tritt singing it.
Yeah, it's probably Balloon Ride.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, Balloon Ride. And
yeah, that's pretty new.
Yeah, that was a pretty good one. And there was the Booger song that sounded almost like Kenny Rogers a little bit. So I don't know which way you lean.
Yeah, I don't know. You get given the voice that you got, and I know
it's not like you're trying.
There's people that take voice lessons and stuff like that, and I had like 6 guitar lessons ever, and then was in a couple singing groups, but like I never was the chosen one. Like I wasn't the one that like, hey, you come over here and sing. I was just one that wouldn't stop.
I'm kind of shocked that you're not more popular unless you're just kind of doing it for fun. I was kind of shocked you didn't have a lot more followers than you do, because you sound like Chris Stapleton a little bit on some of that stuff too, like in that vocal range.
Yeah, I haven't pushed it hard. Like when I got to Wyoming, there's a writer named Brad Watson. He got me to come out there after I left Mississippi State, and it was basically to write fiction and novels and stuff. But I got into this because I wanted to be Guy Clark, if you know who he is. He was Town Van Zant's best friend. His biggest hit song was Pirates of the Mississippi, Too Much. He wrote that with Leroy Cornell.
He just passed away not too long ago.
Just Guy passed Clark. Away.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was my absolute hero. But
that's cool.
I wanted to be him since I was 15 or 16. Like my mom, Afton's aunt, died, and about 3 months later, I was flipping back between BET and CMT on stepmom's TV, and drinking a lot of codeine cough syrup, and just kind of losing myself. And I saw Guy Clark's Boats to Build video. It was on CMT for about 2 months, and it just happened to be when I was in that situation and heard it. And it was a real simple song. It's not his best song, but it just says it's time for a change. I'm tired of the same old same, and went off, and it really struck me. And I went and got my dad's guitar out of the closet. He had old 69 J40 Gibson, and I broke the headstock off of it when I was 1. So it had action on it that was like 1 inch. You basically could have used it to hunt deer if you wanted. It was a
so you could bend them strings like guitar.
Yeah, it was a torture device more than a pleasurable experience. But like, taught myself how to play basically so I could start writing songs like Guy Clark. And at the same time, it's when Sawyer Brown was huge. And then we was talking earlier when we was texting about Mike McNally. I mean, he wrote most of their big hits, right? So I was lucky at that age that I got influenced by them old guys, because them old guys wrote awesome songs. And I wanted to be that. So I got into writing. Eventually, Brad got me to come out to Wyoming to work on writing. And then he told me, because at Mississippi State, I had a band, and we played like about half covers and half originals, and played out about 4 nights a week in a duo or trio or a 4-piece setup. And when I got up to Wyoming, Brad told me I needed to pick and choose. So I stopped doing music for 6 years. It was the worst 6 years of my life. And when I finally got back into it, I just got a ton of songs, and they were good. And Wyoming started paying attention, started throwing me money to play. And so basically when it comes to like having a lot of followers, I've been doing this in the least populated state in the union before I moved to the bottom of the world.
So ratio-wise, you're doing all right.
For ratio-wise, I'm doing all right.
Garth Brooks.
I'm kicking ass. Like, but like, no, it's like I put out the first record in 2017, so it's only been a year and a half at this point, and I dropped that second record, kind of half-ass dropped it right in July, put it up on Bandcamp, but it's been discovered by 2 magazines, so I'll have the second review of it coming out this time in France. One of these days, I'm hoping Mississippi will give a crap. But
somebody will eventually. I'm telling you, I was listening to some of it that I was like, this is. There's no way this guy's got 400 followers. I kept looking for your other page. Like, what am I on a fan page?
No, it's weird. Like, I can't be like, hey, everybody, look at me. Listen to me.
Don't do that.
It's like, like if it happens organically, I'm gonna be real thankful it does. Till then, I'm just gonna write the best songs I can. And write songs that make people think about it and feel it at the same time. Like,
I honestly think it's gonna work out. If I had to be optimistic, because I was like, man, this stuff is it really good, or is it just that I'm bored at work? But I think it was really good because I spent a good hour on it.
Right on. Well, yeah, it's getting at least looked at hard. Like even the first record was up for some awards in Wyoming, and it was only out 2 months before I left. Like,
now, you said you were, what was that? Wyoming CMAs. You were came in second there.
There wasn't a second, but there was top 4. But yeah, I got beat by Ned Ledoux. So that's Chris Ledoux's boy, and he's from Wyoming. I wasn't gonna win that fight.
No, I gonna win with Ledoux.
I was just lucky to be in it. But even that, like, because Wyoming's got a fair number of bands, especially hometown bands, and I feel lucky, feel blessed that doing it exactly the way I want to do it, and people are starting to pay a little bit of attention.
That's pretty cool, especially when you got that high in Wyoming, and I mean, in least populated state. Obviously,
yeah.
I didn't know that, but still, it's a state that counts. It's a big deal. If you were an NFL team and you played for Wyoming, if they had one, you'd be like, yeah, I played for the NFL.
Yeah.
So it's nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, I got beat. Like, that Ned Ledoux record was produced by Mac McNally from Red Bay, Alabama, and he's one of my top 3 songwriting legends. So like to be in that, to be competing with them guys.
In the same Venn diagram's a big deal.
Yeah, and hopefully the studio that did the Book of Vanities, the new record, they've been laying low for some legal issues, but all that's cleared up, so they're about to start pushing it finally. So we'll start attacking Nashville next, and hopefully somebody will pay attention, because like hell, Dan Tominski's playing fiddle on Booger Proof.
Really?
And he's a man of constant sorrow,
Yeah, that song's a hitter now.
Yeah,
if you listen to it, you're like, Jesus. I'm gonna go in the bathroom and take some pills. Golly. You're like, oh, this is funny. Oh no, it's not. It's not funny at all. Oh, this is terrible. I feel sad now. I'm paying taxes and mortgage and eating boogers first of every month. For those of you that don't know, he's got a song called Booger Proof about eating a booger to appease a bully. And it turns out it morphs into life being tons of boogers and the mortgage and the taxes and the job and the baby. And I'm like, I love boogers. I may post a link. It's called Booger Proof by the Dauphin of Mississippi.
Yeah.
I may have got that name wrong, but Dauphin spelled like Dauphin Island, like the prince.
Yeah.
That's a cool name, though. I saw that when Afton sent it to me. I said, that's got some hidden meanings there. Name's kind of deep.
Yeah. I basically took it out of Huck Finn. You ever read Huck Finn? When they're coming down the river, they run into 2 grifters, a couple hobos that are cheating people out of money. and one of them claims to be the Duke of something, and then the older one claims to be the Dauphin of France.
The Dauphin. Yeah.
The Dauphin of France. And so I took it from there because, like, with the first version of Dauphin, the band, like, we kind of jumped genre a little bit, so we're kind of imposters in all the genres. I'm obviously from the deep South, and I was playing with a guy who's from Chicago, so he not Chicago but Illinois, so he influenced the sound a little bit, and don't ever like being pigeonholed into writing any particular genre because that's kind of boring. And it's like we're post Kurt Cobain at this point. I mean, people are like have heard and been influenced by a lot of stuff, but it's still a lot of singer-songwriter with some country twinge, what they would call Americana.
Yeah, folk music.
Yeah, whereas the new record's a lot more straight up country, a little bit more Nashville, and Ray, my old guitar player in the first version of Dauphin, he always said that he felt like it's his job to keep mandolins and banjos away from my songs.
What?
But yeah,
those are the best sound. Those are the best sounds in music. Ain't nothing better than mandolin.
I don't know. Like sometimes you just need to. You do need to like quiet your mandolin player, especially like there's situations where it needs to stop.
There's no talk with that kind of negativity on the Bobby Dizzle podcast. We're a bluegrass friendly bunch here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand where he's coming from though, to keep especially to keep the demographic in a certain way as well.
Yeah, and which for me it's just about the song. Like whatever the song needs is what the song's supposed to get. I don't know. I don't make claims to be any type of thing. I don't really even consider myself much of a musician because there's other people who can play me under the table. I just use that guitar like a hammer. I'm building houses. Whoever wants to come in and paint it the right colors with whatever instrument they bring, as long as it's right, it's right. So yeah. But doing this in Nashville, they definitely wanted some songs they might could sell to other people.
Yeah, and the drunk chicks in the Eric Church tank tops don't want to hear Pawpaw's music, even though I'd do all day. I mean, Bluegrass Junction. If they can keep without playing a coal miner song every 3 times, I listen to Bluegrass Junction most of the time. It's one of my favorite. But everybody thinks I'm like. There's like 7 people in America still working in a coal mine. It's like their main song. But but I love bluegrass. Yeah, I like that. I like that pop. I say I don't like pop country, but Luke Combs is probably my favorite nowadays. I don't know why.
Yeah,
it seems like
I haven't listened to a whole lot of new. Like I quit listening to radio a long time ago. I like 70s songwriters. I know there's a bunch of good ones right now. I love Jackson Isbell, and like I did listen to like the Truckers and Ryan Adams and people like that. I love Josh Ritter, but when it comes to like radio music, I just hadn't like in a long time because I don't know. I got what I love, and I'm getting to the point where I'm old enough now that I don't really want to be. I don't really want to be trying other things.
No, I mean. Beat on your craft of what you're good at.
Yeah, and too, like I mean, my favorite era of music is when Sugar Hill, out of the Carolinas, the record label. I mean, that's who Union Station, people like that, were like Jerry Douglas and Tominski and all them boys, and even they were putting on Guy Clark for a while. So all those folks came out of a certain set in a certain time period, your mid to late 90s, and I guess your early 2000s as well. So yeah, that bluegrass, I never was into bluegrass, but I was damn sure into those players. Like Daryl Scott, like he's a fan. He wrote "Never Leave Harlan Alive."
Ooh,
and
that's a That's a good one there.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
man.
So how do you beat that? How do you beat him, Mac McNally, and Temanski?
Granny sold out cheap.
yeah.
Grandpa had to come back and dig for Harlan Cole.
You
ever heard the Paisley version of that one?
Mm-mm.
There's the Brad Paisley on that album. You know Brad Paisley's "I Love to Fish" album, whatever that was, the blue one.
Yeah.
It was like 2000. It's irrelevant.
Yeah.
But he had that one, and then Kathy Mattea, I think. She the 18 Wheels and Dozen Roses.
Yeah.
She made a bluegrass album with Harlan Alive on it. There's several of them.
Oh yeah.
Then Justified.
Oh yeah.
Justified had a version of it.
Yeah. It's amazing. Like because Daryl Scott had a record called North Carolina Live or something like that, and that's the first time I got it around 2002. It was a review copy. My buddy Josh, who ended up producing this last record, he had it and he gave it to me. And it was transformative.
And that kind of music is different. That's another level. It's not just country.
No, it's storytelling. It's narrative, right? And that's whenever I think when we was texting earlier, like I don't really like a lot of the bro country or the pop country that happens because that kind of human narrative is less important than the kind of me now and my consumer interests make me as a person. And I just can't get off on that part, right?
You know, country music now is singing about what you used to do when you listen to country music back in the day.
Yeah.
Like you're just singing about what you were doing. Like I was doing that anyway. You don't have to sing about it all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Give me the real and you know it's real. I mean, you know whenever he starts singing "Sun Comes Up" that Daryl Scott song was real. He might not live that, but he can damn sure feel it, and he damn sure knows it's the story.
I got my bitter brew I'm drinking. Yeah, that one's.
What?
Oh, this is tea. I'm just saying from the song, whatever bitter brew you're drinking. Couple years ago at my job, they had a big pay cut, and so they hired in a bunch of people who'd come in for cheap.
Yeah, scabs.
And one, do what?
Scabs.
Oh, they kind of were, but it wasn't in that sense. They're not a union, just government contracts. And one of the ladies that came in, her name was Lisa, and I wasn't really mean to them. I didn't care because I was trying to get out anyway. And I got talking to her one day. She goes, "You know, I was raised in Harlan, Kentucky." I'm like, "Jesus Christ, how'd you get a security?
How'd
you get out?" She's like, "Is it supposed to be bad there?" I'm like, "Were you from Harlan, Kentucky? What do you mean it's supposed to be bad?" She was like, "How'd you hear about Harlan?" I'm like, "How'd I hear about Harlan? Really?"
Right on.
One more thing away from Jessica White in the West Virginia. Just one notch away.
Yeah. The bottom of your shoes are made out of Oxycontin. That's how.
Have you seen that? Have you seen? There was the Jessica Dancing Outlaw back in like early 2000s, and then when he got popular and it was kind of grainy, and then Hank the Third narrated that one on Netflix.
No, I never saw Netflix.
Hank the Third was a narrator for a documentary called The Wild Wild Whites of West Virginia.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you about a train wreck. Look, there's one of those kids in there. There's one of those kids in there had a pill bottle, and I got thumbtacks here, and he had that pill bottle and was going. He said, "You hear that?" He goes, "That's a Boone County mating call right there." I'm like,
"Oh God,
God, yeah, that's." Might as well be Harlan. It could be Jackson County, Alabama, where I'm from too. So I can't talk, but I'm kin to half those folks.
Yeah, that's how Mississippi was in the early 2000s. At least I grew up working construction, so that's.
Well, I hear they cleaned it up over there.
Yeah, I hope.
No more pill heads in Mississippi. Not one.
Not one.
They're all on the straight and narrow. Found Jesus. The state even went blue in the last election. I saw.
I heard that. Yeah. Everybody's got health care and good teeth.
Ooh. I wish you wouldn't lie. I mean, YouTube's gonna flag this for falsities. I'm glad it's not going. I'm glad it's not going live. I can cut it out.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So where's Johnson County then?
Jackson County. It's
Jackson County.
yeah, Jackson. Sorry, you probably could. It's northeast corner, next to Chattanooga and Dalton, Georgia,
Okay. So like
where the Tennessee River enters the state.
like 2 counties north of Auburn.
Oh Lord, it's way north Auburn.
Really?
You know, Auburn's down level at Montgomery.
Okay. Is in the middle
down, yeah, kind of down right before you head into South Alabama to the Black Belt.
Okay.
Down by Columbus, Georgia, and Jackson County's on the tip edge of Georgia and Tennessee. Where Georgia and Tennessee meet in that corner, and Alabama meet. That's where Jackson County is.
Is that where that college, small college, beat Ole Miss is?
That's Jacksonville. Jacksonville State beat them, didn't it? They're about halfway between Auburn and Jackson County.
Okay.
Jacksonville State's in it's just a little bit north of Birmingham.
All right.
To the east. It's almost, I would say, if you're looking at Birmingham and Atlanta, it's right there in the middle.
I know.
And then you got Montgomery and then Florida. Auburn's even with Montgomery.
Right on. Yeah, I hadn't been to Montgomery in forever.
Is my sound still good?
Yeah.
Okay, I was just checking. I didn't know if you could hear me because y'all are from you and Afton them's from South Mississippi, ain't you? Down by Biloxi.
We're about 45 minutes from New Orleans in Pearl River County. So that last little hump, there's that flat part. There's that flat part that makes the boot of Alabama or boot of Louisiana, and then there's that little hump going south. That's Pearl River, and we're about halfway down that hump, right on the Pearl River.
That's Jerry Clower territory there.
Yeah, and Clower went to Mississippi State. So yeah, I was in a chainsaw shop one time in Starkville, and I looked up and I had this McCullough chainsaw, and I had like this 10-foot bar on it.
I know where this is going.
I looked up there and I said, "Is that Marcel Ledbetter's, this toothless lady behind the counter?" And she said, "How the fuck am I supposed to know?"
They gave him the beer joint.
Yeah, I was like, "It's Jerry Clower."
You didn't get that, lady? You're in Mississippi. Like, that's a lightweight McCullough chainsaw.
Yeah.
I wonder if she got that a lot.
Yeah. She was, I don't know, man. She was mean looking. She probably did get talked to too much.
She didn't want to hear about him putting that lightweight McCullough through that screen door going, blah, 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 blah. He wouldn't want him knee-high belly washers.
She wasn't. She probably just wasn't from one of them fancy families that had one of them expensive 8-tracks like that.
Jerry Clower reference mixed in here. Now I'm all stumped. That's good. I got in a Jerry Clower conversation a couple of days ago about the. I don't know how versed you are on him, but I go deep into his catalog. There was one where there was a story about one of the guys from back home in Amite County pissed off the mob up in New Orleans or something, and they came down and started shooting Uncle Versi on his horse. He said, "Old man, you ever danced?" And he started shooting at him, and he danced, and Uncle Versi reached over on the other side of that mule and pulled a double barrel shotgun out, rabbit ear, and cocked it back. So you ever kissed a mule in the mouth? He said, "No, sir, but I always wanted to." And there was one about another old timey one that went around about a old lady doing the same thing except it was kiss a mule in the ass. I'm like, it's a ripped off Jerry Clower joke.
Yeah.
You could get down there in New Zealand and just rewrite modern versions of Jerry Clower jokes and probably take over the comedy scene there. Stand up comedy, American comedy.
Mm-hmm. The authentic Southern.
Like Roger Miller, have a little thing there.
Yeah, that'd be something to try probably.
Joe Rogan come along and bust you out for stealing songs, stealing jokes. It's like you did Carlos Mencia.
Yeah, which is crazy. Like, yeah, they say that basically, if you're a great artist, you steal everything. Right? And all that really says is like if you know the source material good enough to hack it, then you've been doing the work, right?
Oh yeah.
All these people, like you get all these court cases now about songs, like that. What was that Pharrell Williams song with that?
Happy.
Was it?
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Marvin Gaye's family sued him. It was like you can literally look at the bass note. I can't even read music, but they put the music up next to each other, and even I could tell that is a different song. But
I remember that. I know what you're talking about. Like 3 years ago.
Yeah, all these courts now are taking and basically awarding millions of dollars to already rich people for theft, and it ain't even close to theft. And it's like, who gave this tone deaf judge, the ability to go in there and say that something is taken from another thing? Like,
yeah, some white dude in a suit. Like, thanks.
Like, have you ever seen, what is it, The Key of Awesome? Bunch of dudes that do like 65, they make a melody of 65 number one songs. And they're able to do that because most of your hit songs all have the same chord structures, the exact same chord structures from the Beatles on, like, or really from the 1940s and 50s on, is because people like to hear something that they know. They like to hear exactly what they know. And like, so now you got all these lawsuits where people are getting awarded millions of dollars for basically writing the same damn song. And it's like, well, they stole that from somebody else. So like for even Rogan to be doing that with outing people for stealing jokes.
Yeah, jokes are just rehashed stories. Been told since the beginning of time.
Yeah. Yeah, you got 5 stories in the world, man. Like,
By the way, I just looked it up. It was Blurred Lines.
Yeah.
Lines. It was, I remember that now. That was the bass line. Yep. All
and
right.
it literally like you can't overlay them 2 bass lines. They're not the same thing, but millions of dollars. I'm just hoping to get sued because like they're not going to get anything, but I'm going to get a lot of media attention. So,
yeah, I mean that's be the best case scenario.
That's the best case scenario for me. They ain't got nothing to take, and I might get famous off of it.
You down there in New Zealand, just go busk with a Trump hat on. They'll put you on the just play the booger song wearing a "Make America Great" hat with a AR-15 shirt. You'll make the news. They'll be reverse that movie Blackfish. They'll be wanting to kill them dolphins. or the Bay.
One. Yeah, the Japanese movie.
There was another one where that happened. Kookaburra with your bunch down there in Australia. Men at Work. The old child song. That was before the Pharrell one, about 10 years. And that was the best thing in the world because now I love the song Men at Work. I bet I've given them 50,000 views since that court case came out.
I need to just figure out who to steal from at this point. But who can I steal from that will actually sue me?
Yeah, who that'll actually affect?
Yeah.
You got to get somebody on the downward spiral, not on the upcome, but downward when they need to start clamoring for them last dollars to make the interest rate.
What? Kenny Rogers better watch his ass.
Which one, the plastic part or the real part? Kenny Rogers, he's only about quarter real.
Well, I mean, that's
it's
true.
Like a resto mod.
Yeah. What I always wonder is, like, how do you screw up fried chicken? Didn't he have a chicken restaurant that went under? How did you screw that up?
I don't know. I think it got buried by the other 87 of them. I never had one. I never had one or saw one. The only thing I knew about that restaurant chain was that Kramer had one outside his window on Seinfeld. Kenny Rogers, you remember the Kenny Rogers roasters? And he opened the door, just that big glaring light, and he didn't get any sleep. And that's the only reference I've ever seen of Kenny Rogers. I've never seen one. I've never seen a Howard Johnson in. Except maybe in the Smokies. But that's it.
There was a roasters in Kill, Mississippi for a minute. So where Brett Favre's from, which ain't actually a place so much as an idea. An idea of a place you don't want to be from. But they had one, but I never ate at it. But I am proud. I heard that Popeyes came out with a chicken sandwich.
Mm-hmm. Trying to rival Chick-fil-A.
Well, everybody's saying that they beat them. That it's the most mouth-watering chicken sandwich on the planet, and I'm always in Popeye's corner because
no
45
no one's
minutes.
more pro Chick-fil-A than me. Like I eat there a lot. That's way too much to be as fat as I am. And but I've had better chicken sandwiches than Chick-fil-A.
Oh yeah,
they're just pound for pound good. I mean, they're quick and it's always fresh and the fries are good, and the kids love it.
Yeah, I
think Zaxby's sandwich is better, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, I think Zaxby's got a better chicken sandwich.
I don't think I ate it Zaxby's.
It's just a lot of butter. I mean, you can't screw it up.
Yeah, I haven't lived in a place where there was a Popeyes in 14 years now. So every time I used to drive to the Denver airport or down to northern Colorado, period, even if I was an hour away, I'd go to Loveland, Colorado, just so I could go to Popeyes.
Well, that's not what I would veer out of my way for in Colorado, but all right, chicken's good.
Believe me, you would. If you was a decade deprived, you would do it.
I couldn't imagine living, because I probably never will. Right now I'm in Huntsville, an hour away from where I grew up.
Yeah.
And I can go see my parents at any time, but I couldn't imagine living like that far away from the cultural nuances of the South.
Well, I got talked into it,
especially New Zealand. Damn.
Yeah, it's different, but like whenever I moved to Wyoming, Brad Watson, the writer, he wrote a novel called The Heaven of Mercury. He's from Meridian, Mississippi.
Oh Lord.
But he told me that by moving to Wyoming it would touch my mind. And what I ended up doing was gaining 60 pounds drinking, and because I didn't know how to deal with snow, man. It like snows there, like 5 feet of snow. It gets down to negative 50 degrees at night. Think about that. If you go outside and you blink, your eyes freeze shut. I didn't know how to deal with that. So like it dang sure touched my mind, but it was probably the best thing I ever did because it kind of made me look at who I was and why I was. And it ended up being great. I hated it for 2 years and loved it ever since.
You were there for a while, wasn't you?
Oh yeah, 12 years. And like I've been down here 18 months now. Kind of. I mean, I went back twice. I did a little tour in July. I went back, got enough gig offers to make it worth it to take off a month from work, and went and did that. And then last summer I did the same thing. I went and recorded, and I went to my buddy Caleb Johnson's wedding. He's from Arley, Alabama. He got a novel out called Treeborn.
That name sounds familiar.
He's good, man.
I've heard it.
He's a real sweet dude. It's a great first novel, and at any rate, he's I got a good bit of Alabama people, I reckon. Like because of Caleb, I know a dude named Lee Baines. He's in Lee Baines and Glory Fires. He was in the Dexateens a minute, and then he was in Arkadelphia, and they would have been around whenever you was in college, I think. Maybe.
I was in 05 around then.
Yeah, Arkadelphia might have been in 06, but he was in the Dexateens in 04, 05, I think. And Caleb definitely would have been at Alabama back then. He did a degree in journalism. He was a writer in Montgomery for a while. He covered Selma for a minute.
He added a journalism degree at Alabama.
Yeah.
I bet that might be because I was in the journalism school, broadcasting school.
Right on.
From Reed 06.
He had long hair. And I don't know. He's a country sounding person I've ever been around. But he's rad. Y'all check him out. He's good people.
There's got to be more than one Caleb Johnson in Alabama, though.
Probably.
That's probably how I think I know him, because there's a guy at work named Kenny Baker, and I'm like, that's everybody I grew up with. Named Kenny Baker. I was like, how do I know you? Well, probably because I know 8 people named Kenny Baker.
It could be a great alias name, because if you're looking up Caleb Johnson in like the phone book, you wouldn't know what color he was.
No, it could be anybody.
It could be anybody.
It's like the name Toby. You don't know who Toby is.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you get down to your Dwights, it's probably a white dude.
You do Wayne's. I don't know, man.
D-Wayne goes across cultural boundaries.
D-Wayne.
Yeah,
Tree boy.
D-Wayne. Yeah.
He's going to be near here. Look at there.
He doing a reading?
He's going doing a book tour. Caleb Johnson.
Get him out back. I'll hook you up with him if you want him to do your show.
I may have to take you up on that.
Yeah, he's what is it called? He's writing for the Bitter Southerner a bunch, and for Parish Review. He's teaching at App State in West Virginia right now.
That's that one to beat Michigan.
Yeah, he's big time. He's a big time Bama guy. So I just troll him about Saban all the time. Because he's all afire right now about Dabo Swinney because of all the bad press he's getting.
Oh, yeah.
Like, come on, man. Like,
man, we can't be. They can't be hassling Dabo. I mean, he's going to be the next Alabama coach. That's what I tell everybody. I said, let him win.
No, you can't want that.
Well, I see like the criteria is you've won a couple national championships, and he seems like the only one out there that has since Nick Saban. You got Gus Malzahn, Eugene Chiswick.
Look, you could take any good coach and put him at Alabama, and he'd already have the recruiting clout. I mean,
oh yeah, that's built in.
It's like, yeah, I mean, so like, y'all just save some damn money and buy and get you a new coach. Start over.
I'm so traumatized from Mike Shula days, though. We sucked the whole time I was there.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it was, and it just feels like you're like scared. Like I gotta get somebody else who has $1 billion, Dauphin. Get 2 coaches, just in case one goes down.
Backup coach.
Yeah, we'll get Dabo and Jimbo Fisher. We'll call them the Bows. Man, yeah.
The Bobos.
I've got this. You can't see it, but right here, it's a Alabama print from whenever Alabama's year. The first year. What's it now? Nick Saban. I just lost the name Nick Saban. The first year Nick Saban won a national championship. Whenever they blocked the punt against Tennessee.
Yeah.
So, like those pictures of my kids and that play right there. Most memorable moments in my life. I got Mount Cody. I got Rick and Bubba.
Wait, are you telling me that kick six is one of the most memorable moments in your life?
Not willingly, it's not, but they won't let you forget it. And now, God rest his soul, the announcer that announced it died over the summer, and now we have to act like we're sympathetic every time they play it because I'm like, okay, you get 1 year of this.
Y'all been telling him to shut up the whole time, and he finally did.
And yeah, now I'm like I felt terrible. And Memorial Day weekend, and like all the Auburn fans are all sad, and I'm like, man, okay.
Did you feel bad when that dude killed them trees?
Yeah,
No.
I felt I was
Them trees were nonpartisan.
knowing me, I laughed because I was listening to Feinbaum when he called in, like live.
Oh yeah.
And this Al from Dadeville, I went down there. He said I had a ticket I couldn't afford, and they come in there and won. And I went down there and got them trees of that T89. Like that is very specific.
You just
He didn't
happen
just
to
say
have
poison
tree
them. He
killing stuff.
said the exact T89 spike strips. I put them in there. And they went down and sampled the soil, and sure enough, I didn't know you could kill a tree like that, but apparently you can. I've sprayed Roundup and stuff on poison ivy for around trees and stuff, and it doesn't kill it. It doesn't even phase it. But apparently, whatever that was is nuclear.
I got an uncle who worked for GE and a bunch of government contractors in the '60s, and they sent him to Yellowstone and what's that big park in California, Yosemite,
It's Yosemite,
back in the '60s because
Grand Tetons.
the Formosa trees, people had planted Formosas and they were invasive species. So the Park Service wanted them gone, but there were some hippies that didn't really understand ecology at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So if you went in there and you tried to kill trees or anything, they try to stop you. So my uncle, who's got a 2-year junior college education from Pearl River Junior College in Poplarville, Mississippi, invented this kind of injection device that you just walk up to trees and you could be walking by it and you stab the tree and hit it at the same time, and then injected poison in it to kill them, just so they could kill them without the hippies getting mad.
See, damn the hippies. The same bunch to put spikes in trees and they're going to get logged. Like you just killed the tree with a spike. I mean, come on. It's kind of interesting though. Come up with a giant Roundup gun for a mimosa tree.
This same uncle was working for Navocean, which does a lot of. He spent a lot of time at the Arctic Circle and just out on boats doing stuff. But part of what he was doing, I walked up in my granny's yard one day and he had a bunch of water hose and he poked holes in it and stuff. And he was designing something that measured the bubbles that came out of nuclear submarines, and he built it out of shit he got from a Dollar General. He would take his big old mooching rods, these saltwater fly fishing rods, and he used all these $1 million machines down at NASA to lighten them and rig them out sideways so we could use them trolling and fishing in where the fresh water meets the salt water on the Mississippi coast. Yeah. But he'd use all the fancy equipment that NASA had to trick out his fishing gear, but he was building nuclear sub detection stuff out of crap he got from Dollar General.
Yeah. Afton said she was the least interesting person in her family. I'm starting to believe it. I was like, how are you the least interested? And it just gets deeper.
Yeah. It gets pretty weird. We've had, I don't know. We're lucky to be where we're from when we was from there.
What was her, you say you didn't know Wall Street fell because you was too poor and you couldn't tell? Yeah.
Some of that. We didn't know. I don't know. My dad's a builder, and he never made any money at it, but he had multiple projects in Architecture Digest when I was a kid. Been in Golf Digest because we built golf courses and $21 million bridges, that sort of crap.
Jeez. But you didn't make no money at it?
No, the big projects we were working for other companies.
Oh,
But
okay. I was gonna say, damn.
but like the Architecture Digest pieces and stuff, yeah, uh he was a lead contractor. He's just a bad businessman. He's a really good builder, a really bad businessman.
Being the boss is terrible sometimes, so I don't blame him.
Yeah, it's damn sure not the easiest role. I don't know. He is a great builder. He built the uh, he's an architect named Faye Jones. He's out of Eureka Springs, Arkansas. He's one of the understudies of Frank Lloyd Wright. He's on that Madison campus that all Frank Lloyd Wright's design geniuses would go to. And he built one of his buildings in South Mississippi that's won a bunch of awards from the American Institute of Architects and stuff. So, like, yeah. And there was gospel singers. Like, him and Mom had a gospel group.
I was about to ask if they played music and guitar too.
Yeah, like the guitar I learned on was my dad's. When I was 1 year old, he went to answer the phone and he just left it on the couch. And I walked up to it and grabbed the E string, and he heard the E string pop, and he looked around just in time to watch the headstock fly off when it hit the coffee table. And that's the guitar I ended up learning to play on. And yeah, it was like we grew up. The gospel quartet fell apart whenever the bass singer ran away with my youngest uncle's wife, and they kind of quit for a while. And then Reagan's recession hit, and my dad was in construction trades, so he was always gone. But me and my brother grew up in this house with like bass guitars and all these instruments and stuff. And at the time, we was just making stuff fall off the walls, playing
hard as you could.
Hard as we could. We didn't know what we were doing. Yeah, but eventually, like when I turned 15 and was looking for direction, I was really glad all that stuff was around.
And what? And you don't have a song called "The Bass Singer Rang Off with My Uncle's Wife"?
Not yet.
Where's that hit? You kidding me? I may write that. I'll tell you, me and my friend, this guy who was on the show, I haven't posted it yet. His name's Hugh Tyler.
Yeah.
He meet him I've known him since like 1988 when we was 5. Went to church together in school, and we got in this little tiff about how Kenny Chesney wasn't country because I got the no shoes. You can't see it. There it is. There it is. Yeah. Sign up there on top.
Yeah.
I said, I'm gonna write a song called "I'd Rather Have Old Flip Flops Than a New Pair of Boots." And damn, if I came up with the first verse. Even says Chris Ledoux in it. You'd be proud.
Right on.
Love that dude.
So that Hugh Nation stuff he got banned.
Oh, the guy I was talking about. He is a local singer. Yeah, he's from Scottsboro too. He's lived in Huntsville here, and it's kind of growing. So he plays all these little. Anytime he plays a lot of the
street festivals and stuff.
Well, yeah, and bars, and there's tons of bars around town with bands. What is the fun run? He plays. People run 5Ks and half marathons. He'll play at the finish line and set up his little system. He'll be like the live band there. He just had a baby like 4 days ago. He was gonna run. I'm in one on Saturday, a half marathon, and I'm gonna fail at. And he was gonna play the finish line to it. And I told him, I said, when I get done, I'm gonna run up, out of breath, sweaty, soaked to the bone. We're gonna sing "Sweet Home Alabama." And thank God I don't have to sing after doing all that now. But you remind me a lot of him. He played a half a dozen songs here. He came in the studio because he just lives a couple miles away. His dad's in a bluegrass band back home.
Yeah.
And what is it? He's got a song called 100 Miles to Memphis. Man, I was going to say something. I forgot. It doesn't matter. Well, yeah. He said we were talking earlier about how, popular and least popular states. He said, he goes,
Yeah,
this year I've made my most money ever playing guitar, and that's $1,200. So I did exactly that. I about passed out. I guess that's enough to pay for like one guitar.
yeah,
You gotta love it.
yeah. Yeah, it's hard to do anymore, man. Like I figured out, like, if I just once I got to a little bit of level out west, started getting emailed, and that changed everything. Because once they email you, you can be like, "How much money is in your budget?" But like before, like starting out, just trying to hustle, and you're like, "Can I play your bar on Tuesday night?" And they're like, "We will pay you $15 in this used napkin."
I'll give you a plate of nachos.
Yeah, we'll give you a $30 tab to split between your 4 people.
It's like 2 beers.
Yeah, right. And yeah, so that's another thing. I've done one tour here. I did a tour with a guy named Dave Dondero last summer, and NPR called him a top 10 living songwriter with Bob Dylan and Leonard Cohen and people like that. And it's become a curse to Dave. But that's basically the only shows I've played around here. I played.
You don't play the local nightlife there or nothing?
Not really. A couple gigs here and there, like when I get offers, but I haven't been reaching out. I got a bunch of boys who want to play with me now. They want to play some honky tonk music, and we're going to try that come October. And
are these guys local?
No, kind of. I mean, they live here, but one of them's from Italy, one of them's from Wales.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
That's even more extreme in my mental picture how they're going to sound.
Oh, no, they've been in bluegrass bands and stuff before.
So they sound like Mick Jagger. Sounds like an American.
A little bit.
What does New Zealanders sound like? Australians? They don't.
Well, kind of like snobby Australians. like they're more British than the British, but they got a pinched lilt. They just had some kind of news article came out and said they got the sexiest accents in the world. I don't know who told them that.
They ain't shut up since.
Yeah.
What do they call them? Kiwis down there?
Yeah.
Kiwis?
Yeah, the Kiwis.
I'm a stupid American. I don't know jack about nothing. And I'm flaunting it right here. I'm never leaving Alabama, and you can't make me.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah, they ain't bad. They ain't bad people.
I think the Southern accent was like number 3 on that list.
Really?
I remember when that came out. Rick and Bubba talked about it.
There's like, man. There's like 6 Southern accents. There's classical Southern, which reaches from Jackson, Mississippi, through Birmingham.
Well, it wasn't. It wasn't the Carolina Southern.
Yeah. Damn sure wasn't New Orleans.
You want to hear a funny story about that? I was in Alabama my first semester I was there in a health class. We had to introduce ourselves. And this boy walked up to the front of the class and said his name. And I perked up like a dog that heard a whistle. I'm like, that's a Jackson County accent. Turned out it was my damn cousin. I didn't know he went there. I reckon I was like, dude, I said, we grew up. I haven't seen you in like 10 years. I said, I didn't know you went down here. I said, I knew you, what street you grew up on, what holler you was from, by the way you said. That's Curtis. I'm like, whoa, that's back home. That dude sounds like he's been smoking and riding 4-wheelers. That's from back. It's true.
Me and Afton saw Guy Clark play the Kentucky Fest probably in like 2002 or 2003, something like that.
Tuscaloosa?
Mm-hmm.
Northport?
Yep. And a guy in Verlin came down. They was headlining it. So, and Guy told this joke, and he said, I don't really care what your politics is, but it's kind of nice to have somebody in that White House that don't have an accent.
It's been a while.
Yeah, no joke.
I'm gonna have to go. Whenever he died, I went down the rabbit hole of a lot of his songs. I forget because he's like more of a writer than he is a singer.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and like you forget what he wrote, then you really forget what he sang.
mm-hmm.
Like I'm looking at him now.
Man, Dublin Blues is the greatest song he's ever written. Like, Parsley Sage might be the greatest song ever written, but at least number 2 is Dublin Blues. It's my favorite song. But it's just genius. Like it's next level. The things he's talking about in it. He's doing a lot of literary illusion, and I don't know.
Him and Towns Van Zandt.
Yeah. Like, and I love Guy way more than I love Towns. Like, I like Towns a lot. I used to like Steve Earle, but I don't know. He's kind of annoying.
He kind of fell off a little bit. Didn't he go down the left wing crazy train a little bit a few years ago? Like he turned into like one of those hippies.
I mean, he always was, and that's not part. Like, I think the part that bothers me. Like, I'm more left of center than I am right of center, and a lot of that's just because of how I was raised by gospel singers. Like, either believe it or don't. Either believe it or I don't. Like,
you got forced out like a watermelon seed between somebody's toes. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, mainly just they won't shut up. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I always kind of hated Texas, especially after Cotton Bowl in 1998.
What was that? Like, Cotton Bowl.
The Cotton Bowl in '98.
Tennessee.
Ricky Williams beat the shit out of us. Mississippi State.
Oh, I was like, you had to be more specific on your Mississippi State beatdowns. There's.
Oh, come on now.
So there's kind of a bunch of them.
Yeah, but how many of them happen in January?
Oh man, yeah, you don't really see them then. Who'd they play?
Well, you do now. Texas. It's Texas and Ricky Williams. And next year we beat A&M in the Ice Bowl. But
beat Alabama twice in a row.
Yeah, back then.
That's the reason I
had some great years. Yeah, so that was some real great years. It was, when I was at Mississippi State. I mean, we won the SEC West as an 8-5 team. It was just like there was a lot of parity in the SEC, and it was awesome because like you never knew who was going to.
Yeah, back then.
And rock your face.
Everybody had them big old cornbread fed boys back then. They still do, but now it's more centered.
Well, now it's a machine. All of it's a giant machine, and it's like less a game. I don't know. I kind of liked it back then.
You got to get LSU or Alabama to the top, and nobody cares the other way.
Yeah,
the other way around it.
Yeah. Yeah,
and Auburn too. They've been that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully State won't fall off any more than they already have. I don't think they will.
Who's the coach now over there? It's not
Moorhead.
Jeez, I forgot about what's his name leaving.
Mullen.
Yeah, the Florida guy.
Yeah, Dan Mullen. Florida. Yeah. Yeah, he went to Florida. I'm hoping we. I don't know. I love State and football season. I'm a very, very passionate person.
I'll tell you what about Mississippi State. There are some nice fans over there. It is. It's one of my favorite away stadiums to go to.
Yeah.
I'll say it tongue in cheek, but I don't know it's because they don't expect much, or if they're really that nice. But it's always been a good experience when I've been to Starkville. Yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't quite say it's because they don't expect much, because they do.
They really care, though. Yeah, like you were saying.
But
so they really care.
I actually don't care if they win as long as they stand up and rock somebody in the face. if we get beat by somebody if we get beat, say 30-24, and they've outspent us by $49 million, I'm all right with that. I'm more than okay with that.
They're definitely a team that'll scare you more times than not.
Yeah, and they're fun to watch because of that. Like my buddy Caleb from Arley, like if Bama loses, his world is destroyed forever.
Don't know anything about that.
It's pretty amazing.
Right? Don't get emotional over Bama games at all.
Yeah.
Not once.
Yeah.
Never cried on the floor. That's why this particular print is right there above my head where my wife nearly left me.
Yeah. Whenever the kick six happened, me and Caleb was watching it from his apartment in Laramie, and he literally turned around and looked at the wall for like an hour and a half.
It was pretty awful.
We couldn't get him to look around.
It took a while to get over.
I bet it did.
I didn't know what happened, but it's a little easier. I say easier. I don't show it, but it's a little easier now that there's championships on either side of these things.
Yeah. A decade will do a lot.
Yeah, but it was just in 2005 when we had a 10-win season, and it was nine wins going in the Iron Bowl, and they sacked Brody Kroll like 87 times. I'm like, what? Just once? You can't. But if we'd have done good, we'd have still had Sheila, so I guess it was worth it. And Tommy Tuberville is running for Senate in Alabama, and he says the Alabama fans all owe me a vote. It wasn't for me, there wouldn't be no Nick Saban. I'm like, well, he's not wrong, and he's got a good platform. I said I may vote for him. He was at my buddy's gun shop this weekend. They had Customer Appreciation Day. He came over and signed autographs, I think.
Wow.
Back home. Still, I'd have to shake his hand but like that gum, man.
I mean,
ruined my childhood.
That's when he had Cadillac and what was the other guy's name?
Cadillac, Quentin Groves, and you had several people.
Yeah. That was his 11. That was his perfect season.
That was
2004.
2010. 2004 was a 14-0 season. They didn't go to the championship.
Yeah.
But he got fired a year or two into Saban's tenure.
Yeah.
And then Gene Chizik came along and rode on them recruits and Cam Newton.
Yeah, Cam Newton. Yeah, that one. Yeah, I just got my bird dog whenever the Cam Newton stuff happened, and they beat us 10-3 that year. And
on a Thursday.
On a Thursday night or afternoon, whatever.
Yeah.
But whenever they got that touchdown, there was a holding that didn't get called, and I picked up this ottoman in my house and I threw it against the wall, and boot wouldn't come out for 2 days. It's about then I started questioning my sanity around college sports.
That's how I remember that. I remember that game because it was the year before. It was 3-2.
Yeah,
on a Thursday.
Yeah,
maybe. I'm thinking that baseball score game was Thursday and next year was a Saturday. Hell, I don't know. I don't even care.
I don't know. All I remember is my dog was afraid of me. Well, I gotta run down to a meeting down
That's
the hill.
Fine.
My job, but it's been good talking to you, man.
Yeah, it was fun. What time is it there now?
1:08.
Shit. Well, that's cool. Yeah, we'll cut it off now. We've covered every single thing.
Right
I need you to come to Alabama and do a show now so I can hear the rest of that album.
Yeah, man. Yeah, well, download that son of a gun. But I'll try to do that probably next summer sometime.
That'd be pretty cool.
I'm gonna try to hit the UK, and well, first in February, March this year. I'm going to try to do a tour of New Zealand. Just so I can play the rest of it and see the rest of it. But then I'm going to try to jump over to the UK and do Europe for a minute, but then jump back because we'll be moving back overseas by then.
Okay. Let me ask you this. What do you go by your official artist name?
Dauphin, Mississippi, man.
Okay. I saw 2 or 3 different things, and then obviously your real name. So I like to make my titles look official, like I actually got something going, because I don't fake it till I make it over here.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You have a fun time at work and down under.
You too, bro.
And we will holler at you. Peace out. Thanks for being on.
Yeah, man. Later.
See you.
Third grade outsider, right there on the cusp, navigating society, at least the best I could. When a kid with all the power circled round me with his friends and said, if I ate a booger, I could hang around with them. Well, I wish I could report to you, told him go jump a fence. Then and there I ate that booger, and I've been eating boogers since. My life did not turn out so bad, them guys, they kept their word. I grew up in their world of the unkind and the absurd, knowing I'd never be the hero. Surviving's more my thing. Does it make me less a man for knowing my damn place? 'Cause it's boogers when you pay the rent, it's boogers when you vote, boogers with your coffee and that paper boogers wrote, boogers for the overtime that you have to work. When you want a promotion, then you find it's boogers for dessert. At least I'm not like P-Boy, nobody had it any better than him. Yes, he pissed his pants right in class, age 10.